done that interview with Dan Jarvis, so she's just hot-footing up the stairs. She'll be with us in a sec. KAILYN Hall of Aberdeen Performance going in lane 7. And then in lane 6, AIMEE Hood. I've talked about the ages of the swimmers here, and it's really heartening to see quite a lot of really good youngsters coming through. 17-year-old in 7, 16-year-old in 6, 16-year-old up in lane 1 as well. Jacob Whittle may well have made the Olympic team on the men's side on the 100 meters freestyle, swimming 48.7, was 4th on the individual 100. Here, though, is the fastest seed, won the 800 meters freestyle. British champion in the 800 and the 1500 meters freestyle. Very good open water swim as well, Leah Crisp. Lauren Wetherall from Ellesmere College, 3rd in the 800, goes in lane 3. And then fascinating in lane 2. Here she is, Lucy Charles-Barclay. Most swimmers would know her as Lucy Charles. She's a fantastic distance swimmer. She's also a stunning triathlete, an absolutely wonderful triathlete. She's been to the Ironman World Triathlon Championships in Kona in Hawaii. And not only been there, she was runner-up in 2017, 2018 and 2019. 3.8K swim, 110 miles on the bike, and then a marathon. This is bonkers. Absolutely brilliant athlete, supremely fit. Leah Crisp, the fastest seed, is in lane 4. Lucy Charles will be up in lane 2, right next to Olivia Kingsland, the 16-year-old from Nova Centurion in 1. Emily Clark, the 2nd fastest swimmer, seeded into this final heat. It's actually the one and only heat, the women's 1500 meters freestyle. The qualification standard set for these trials, and then unfortunately they had to pare it down because they had to manage a bubble, manage as many athletes and coaches and officials as they possibly could within a COVID bubble. It's a tight bubble too, really is. The rules are really strict. And so in doing so, they had to reduce the numbers here by an awful lot. An example, Mount Kelly down in Tavistock in Devon had 50 people qualify for the Olympic trials. Unfortunately, they were only, I think it's 13 they were able to bring in the end because they had to pare it back so brutally, British swimming. But it was the right thing to do, absolutely the right thing to do. Keep the top athletes as safe as possible. Tough for those who weren't able to be here, but they really had to make sure that they were fit, and not everyone's been able to have access to water, so probably the best thing. Take it steady coming back, plenty of time. And look at this, Lucy Charles up the top there. The triathlete set off really well. She actually swam the Olympic test event for the open water, 10K in Hyde Park. There she is. The 10K in Hyde Park before the 2012 games. That was held in 2011. And apparently the water there tasted a little bit ducky. I was talking to one of the swimmers who came out after the actual Olympics. I was commentating on that, and one of the swimmers came out and said, God, it tastes really ducky. And I was like, well, I'm not surprised. 1,000 years of geese have pooed in it. That was the Serpentine. There is a wonderful Serpentine swim team actually, and I think, don't they go in on Christmas Day, break the ice and get in there? Anyway, going very well at the moment is Lucy Charles-Barclay up the top there in lane 2. Leah Crisp in the centre started off fairly comfortably in that bright pink suit, turning in about 4th place at the moment. So Lucy Charles-Barclay over first. AIMEE Hood, the 16-year-old from Birmingham, in lane 6. Closer to us is in 2nd. Then that green suit up there of Lauren Wetherall of Ellesmere College. Well, Lucy Charles-Barclay's gone off like a shot, and delighted, absolutely delighted to say you don't realise how happy I am that I've been joined by the British record holder, and she's breathing quite heavily, having...
There's a lot of steps, I'll tell you that.
I was just going to say sprinted up the steps. Can I, first of all, before we do talk about this 1500 freestyle, in which Lucy Charles-Barclay's gone off really well down the first, 200 metres, but what a great interview that was with Dan Jarvis.
Oh, I was quite emotional, and at times it's quite hard because obviously I know a lot of these swimmers so well, and I've trained alongside Dan in Swansea, and I was struggling to get my words out because I felt really emotional, you know. I know how hard he's worked, I know how much he wanted it, so to get under that time, and he's just such a lovely man, and obviously I've seen him from 2014 Commonwealth Games with him, and just seen him develop and grow, and so that was a really special swim, but yeah, sprinted up here after, and that's why I'm so out of breath.
Well, you did very well, and I'm delighted you did, because this 1,500 metres freestyle, the closest I got was doing 4 lengths, and this is 30. But you are an absolute master at it. British record holder. What is that, 15:47, I think is the British record, something like that?
Yep, 15:47.
Yeah.
From 2013, I think I did it.
Did you? Where do you remember where you did it?
It was in Sheffield, yep. At the World Trials. I actually had a really great meet that meet. Had the 800 the night before and went 8:18, and then followed back with a 1,500 the day after with 15:47. So yeah, it's actually great to watch Lucy here. You know, I think a lot of the triathletes will be tuning in tonight to see how she's getting on. But yeah, she's really pushing herself out from the first go, really testing herself. And I think even when I've watched the Super League Triathlon, her in Ironman, she really attacks all her races and gives it some heart. So it'd be great to see how she fends up against some of the distance swimmers here.
Well, I was talking to a mate of mine, Glenn Cook, who's I used to swim with at Mount Kelly. A bunch of swimmers. We've got a little WhatsApp group, which is quite exciting. When I asked him about Lucy Charles-Barclay, and he did say that she's come second in Kona at the World's Ironman Triathlon Championships 2017, 2018 and 2019. That's unbelievable. That
is unbelievable. And obviously that is a 3.8 kilometre swim. Whereas here obviously it's 1,500, and I actually caught her as she got out of the warm-up and I said, Lucy, how are you feeling? And she said, well, I haven't swum a 1,500 in the pool since 2019, so she said, I'll just see how it goes, try and enjoy it as much as you can enjoy a 1,500, she said.
It's probably a bit short for her, isn't it, if she's 3.8k in the Ironman?
Yeah, she's obviously used to the open water. That was her background from open water swimming. So it's actually quite nice to see her in the pool and to see her challenging herself, you know. She always says she takes on new challenges, loves to really push herself. And obviously going for that long distance, she did obviously swim 10 kilometres as well, open water. So she's got a lot of experience, but I guess not as much in the pool in the recent years. But it's great to see her in here and just having a go to see what happens.
Well, she went off like a shot. The first 100 metres, I think she might have got a bit excitable.
I think traditionally with triathlon, you know, that first 100 is a scrap. Yeah. You're trying to get your the front of the pack, and you're trying to have a really strong swim, and you've got to try hard on that first 100 to 200 metres. So I think that's probably where it's come from. But I guess she's locking into that pace. But some of those distance swimmers are starting to come through from the pool with maybe a slight bit more experience in the past few years in the 1,500.
Well, starting to come through is Leah Crisp, who won the 800 metres freestyle right in the centre. And she may be first to turn. It's going to be quite tight. It is Crisp just by 11/100ths from Emily Clark of Loughborough University, one lane closer to us of those two leaders in the centre. Clark in the black hat, Crisp in that pink suit. And then Lucy Charles-Barclay just maybe starting to be dropped a little bit maybe by the two leaders in the centre. Lucy Charles-Barclay representing Epping Forest. I think she might be the first swimmer from Epping Forest that I've ever commentated on.
Oh, it's a first.
I knew you'd be excited about that.
Lucy has a very high tempo to a stroke, and I think that's very traditional with open water, having quite a high stroke rate, but she's very powerful. And if you think she normally swims a 3.8 kilometre swim, and then I think it's 180 kilometres on the bike, and then a marathon at the end. Yeah. Like, it's just crazy. So the engine she must have, but it'd be nice to see her obviously coming in with a bit of a tussle with the girls and see if she can hang on to them.
Well, I was talking to Chrissy Wellington, who was multiple Kona champion, and she used to be a swimmer, I think in Norwich somewhere. What a lovely lady she is. She just smiles all the time. And it was great talking to her about the experience and certainly having her background as a swimmer. And quite clearly, Lucy Charles-Barclay here, a very, very good swimmer. And I thought she was going to get dropped, but not a chance at the moment. She's hanging in really tough. This is very good to see. Leah Crisp in the centre did win the 800. She's the British champion on this 800 metres, oh, sorry, the 800 metres freestyle, and this, the 1,500 metres free. And, well, that was an interesting shot of Lucy at the top there. She's sort of got one of those sort of very short, choppy strokes, doesn't use her legs very much, almost like a bath toy.
Oh. not back to the bath toy, are we? I got described as a bath toy. For all those listeners that maybe didn't hear the other day, my stroke was described as a bath toy, which is fine, you know. If it works, it works. You make the most of it. But yeah, I think very high tempo, high stroke rate. And again, with the open water, you've got to be prepared, you know. There could be waves, it could be choppy, you could be pulled in the current. But yeah, not a very strong leg kick, which is quite traditional, maybe for some of the distance swimmers.
Just before I get lots of messages, I was joking, by the way. She's she's a wonderful swimmer, and describing my co-commentator, double Olympic silver medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, I think once, 4 times European.
Yeah. Gold. You've got it.
Yeah, I'm getting there. By tomorrow, I'll be right on it.
And we'll be sat at home watching, thinking, what a great week we had.
So the swimmers in the centre going well, but I thought they might have dropped Lucy. Lucy was about 5 or 6 metres ahead up there in 2 for a while. And the start, certainly from Leah Crisp, nice and comfortable. And, well, they seem to have just made a little bit more of a move in the centre. Leah Crisp leading. There she is with that blue hat of the Bath National Centre. And then Emily Clark, 1 lane closer to us. A really interesting stroke from Emily Clark. Look at that. Sort of a catch-up stroke almost?
Yeah, it's a beautiful long stroke, quite low stroke rate. Not a strong leg kick either, so she's got a lot of power through those arms. But Lucy staying in, and now she's got a race on her hands. You know, it's once you get your teeth into it, you don't want to let go. So it'll be interesting to see how this race pans out.
Well, talk to me about the leg kick there of the lane 5 in the black suit there, Emily Clark, because there's hardly any at all.
No, it's a very easy leg kick, you know. I think with the distance swimmers, the legs are your biggest muscles in your body, and they take and require a lot of oxygen. And so typically with distance swimming, you don't always see a strong leg kick because we're trying to work on that nice strong pull. I used to do a lot of pulling training, sometimes 4 1500s pull just with paddles, just trying to work on that upper body strength. So it is key, and I used to have a 2-beat crossover leg kick, whereas it looks like Emily Clark has just got a very gentle kick, maybe a 2-beat kick, just that balance of her stroke and the rotation of her freestyle.
Well, she certainly looks comfortable with it. It seems to be pretty efficient, but look up the top there. Lucy Charles-Barclay is just, well, she seems to have got into a rhythm and seems comfortable in that rhythm. Maybe Leah Crisp just starting to push a little bit. So 600 metres to go at this turn, I think. I think that's the 900 metres turn, it is. So 12 lengths left. And also fairly interesting, going this way up the pool, Lucy at the top there seems to catch Leah Crisp a little bit, and then coming back, Leah Crisp seems to go away a tiny bit. Is that possible? Is that just my imagination?
I don't know whether it's her breathing pattern. She seems to mainly be breathing to her right, and then the slight one to the left maybe to have a look, but mainly to her right. So I don't know whether it's something to do with the breathing pattern, that when she can see people in her sights, or how it's affecting her that way. This is the lap counters as we're coming in, so they've got 11 lengths to go, which is great to see. And I think even seeing all the volunteers here and everyone that's supported this event, it's just, we're so thankful to have this event here and to have everyone supporting us. So yeah, very grateful for those volunteers that have really helped us this week, and always come in with a smile, even though you can tell they're smiling even underneath their mask with their eyes.
Well, they've certainly been very jolly, and interestingly, it's not only the swimmers that have to go into the bubble, but it's everybody, because obviously you can't have a timekeeper who just goes out and goes to the pub and then comes in and does some timing. Well, he wouldn't do that anyway, of course, but goes and meets people and then comes back bringing whatever with them. So they've all had to be in the bubble as well. So the commitment this week has been really phenomenal. Only allowed in your hotel room, or walk straight to the pool, no shops or anything. Stay here, and then when you're done, you go back to your hotel room. You can go down to the hotel's restaurant, pick up a tray, get your food, take it back up to the hotel room and eat it there. It's been really, really strict for very, very good reason. And it's not just the swimmers, it's the coaches, the officials, and you and me, Jazz.
And even talking to Dan there, you could tell it has been tough for him, you know, staying in that room. And he said it has been a very tough week. And I think when you're in a room on your own, in your thoughts in your head, it can be quite intense. But obviously, we've all got to do this to be here and to have this event on. So, yeah, very lucky to be here and being able to watch some swimming live, and some great swimming that we've been watching this week.
Well, there has been some really brilliant stuff and some fascinating stuff here as well. When Leah Crisp goes to her feet, she really does go really well. This is fascinating. It's, she seems to take sort of a metre or two out of Lucy Charles at the top there, and then Lucy Charles just slowly catches it up again, and then Leah just does a little bit of a spurt. I wonder whether Leah Crisp, closer to us, has just gone to her legs a little bit more there.
Yeah, it looks like she's bringing those legs in. Obviously, we're in the final part of the race now, and they're still in a tussle for that top two with Lucy Charles and Leah Crisp. The consideration time is pretty swift in a 16:04. Obviously, when they're based off the world records, and Katie Ledecky is an incredible 1500 freestyler, world record holder. So the times are very quick, but they're having a very strong swim, and it's nice to see them battling out over the 30 lengths, the longest event in the pool, male and female. It's great to see.
Well, it's a new Olympic event, this, I think, the 1500, isn't it? It's been at the World Championships for ages. Did you ever do it at the Worlds?
I did it at the Worlds, but I came 9th. So it wasn't my it wasn't my best week in 2013 at the World Championships. I was a bit off, so just missed that final. But yeah, it was a bit difficult. You know what? Someone asked me today whether I'd have entered it or wanted to do it if it was in the Olympics in Rio, and it's a very heavy programme when you've got heats and finals of the 400, 800 and 1500, and some of the swimmers also do the 200 as well. So it can be a very busy programme. So it's quite difficult to manage them all, really.
Indeed, and if you throw in the 200, it's heats, semis and finals, isn't it? So that really does add an awful lot. Ledecky has done that programme at the World Championships, and I think she's done the sweep, hasn't she? The 2, the 4, the 8 and the 15. I think
she has done that.
One of very few athletes who've ever achieved that. So there are now 5 lengths to go, 250 metres left in this, the one and only heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. And right at the top there, Lucy Charles went off very quickly down the first, probably 200, 250 metres, then just set into a rhythm. Leah Crisp started off a little bit more gently and then moved after about 300 or 400 metres. And these two have been going head to head for the last, what, maybe 800, 900 or so. And Leah Crisp in the centre just cannot drop Lucy Charles.
No, at that turn, there was, oh my God, it's less, so it's 5/100ths of a second in between the two of them. So that is incredibly close, seeing as they've swam 26 lengths.
Goodness me.
And I'm actually really surprised at how good Lucy Charles's turns are. I think she's actually got better turns than what I had when I swam. Seeing as she does a triathlon where it's an open water event, and so there's no turns, she has great turns. Obviously, she does a lot of training in the pool, but she's got great turns.
Well, she used to be a swimmer, obviously, a pool swimmer, obviously a swimmer. She used to be a pool swimmer, now a brilliant world-class World Championship silver medalist in the Ironman. And, well, it looks like Lucy Charles may well just be starting to try and go early. It's a long way out. I know, Jazz, you've got to go down and do the interviews, but do you think she's gone early, too early?
I think maybe she's testing the water, see what she's got on this last 150 metres, coming into that 100-metre turn, hearing that bell. That's what you want to hear on that last final 100 metres. And Lucy seems to be going to her legs, but I've got to go. I'm going to poolside to do the interview, so I'm not going to know who it is when I get down there. And it's a bit of there's a lot of steps to get down. That's why I've been a bit out of breath and maybe talking a bit quickly, so I apologise. But thanks so much for having me in the commentary this week, Andy. I've loved it.
Oh, that's it, isn't it?
That's it. That's our final farewell.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, I have to say, Jazz. It's been really fun working with you, particularly on these longer races. It's a great pleasure to share the chat. But with 50 metres to go, we must concentrate on this because Lucy Charles went with about 200 to go. I think she knew that Leah Crisp has got a bit of a kick, so she's tried to break us slightly earlier, and it's going well at the moment. Crisp in the centre, Lucy Charles up the top there. They're not going to be near the consideration time, but this is an amazing swim from a wonderful triathlete at the top there. Leah Crisp won the 800 freestyle in the centre, and she's going to her legs. It looks like she's maybe just ahead, but Lucy not going to give up at the top. Leah Crisp, I think, is going to win it, the 19-year-old from the Bath National Centre. Oh, my goodness me, right at the very end. Oh, look at that. Was that 15/100ths of a second, something like that? 17/100ths of a second over 6 minutes, 46.09. Leah Crisp adds the 1,500 metres to the 800 metres she won earlier this week. Lucy Charles-Barclay, what a great swim. Not a regular pool swimmer at all, an utterly brilliant Ironman triathlete. And not only does she do Ironman, but she does it in Kona. She does the swim in the sea, then she cycles through the lava fields. It is just unbelievably humid and hot, then runs a marathon. How fit is she? A really cracking swim, wonderfully impressive, and holding the end up for the triathletes in the world brilliantly well. I wonder if she's going to have a crack coming back into the pool after that. That was a wonderful, wonderful swim. So Leah Crisp wins this one and only heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle at the British Swimming Selection Trials for Tokyo. The time, 16:46.09. Well, quite a way outside of the consideration time, but she's still got plenty of time to go. I would imagine another 3 years' time, she's going to be 22, Leah Crisp. And the Paris Olympics, I wonder if she'll have a crack at that one. Goodness me, 30 lengths of the pool, and 17 100ths of a second split them. That's brutal. So, confirmation of the result of the women's 1500 metres freestyle on the fastest heat. Leah Crisp wins it from the Bath National Centre, 16:46.09. And just behind her, just a fingertip, Lucy Charles-Barclay of Epping Forest, the triathlete, 16:46.26. A great swim from her. Emily Clark just dipping under 17 minutes. And then Lauren Weatherall